Namo Buddhaya. Today I am going to tell you some Dhamma facts about our sense bases. The Buddha says, Rupa Rama Bhikkhave Deva Manussa Rupa Rata Rupa Samhita. Rupa Rama. What is the meaning of this? Rupa means the forms that we see. Rupa Rama means the deities and human beings, including all other beings, they live in the form, making it a living place. Through the eyes, looking at the form, they mentally live in this form. So the Buddha says, Rupa Rama Bhikkhave Deva Manussa. And again Buddha says, Rupa Rata. Rati means clinging to something, the attachment towards something. Human beings and deities, they live in the form having attached to it, having clung to it. Rupa Rata. And again Buddha says, Rupa Samudita. Samudita, the Pali word is, the meaning of it is finding delight in something. Deities and human beings find delight in the form that they see. Because of this, what happens to those human beings and deities, including all other beings? Because of the changing of these forms change. Because of this changing, they have to incur suffering, sorrow, despair, lamentation, etc. Because they do not know, the human beings and the deities do not know that these forms change. These forms are of a nature to change. Who is unaware of that? Who doesn't know that these forms change on this? They try to live in those forms mentally, through the eyes. They try to cling, attach to these forms, thinking that they are permanent, they are stable. They try to find delight in these forms, not knowing that these forms change. Then what happens to them when they are attached to these forms? When the forms change, they have to incur suffering, sorrow, because they wanted these forms to be stable, but it is not so. So that it is very important, and we should have a clear-cut understanding about these forms, that these forms are of a nature to change, rise and fall. And the main thing that we should understand within this Dhamma fact, especially between I and the form, is that human beings and deities, including all other beings, why do they cling to these forms, attach to these forms? Why do they find delight in these forms? Is they think that because of the darkness that appears, that rises between I and the form, human beings and the deities, they feel that there is a real gap, space, distance between I and the form. This is the cause, this is the fact that which causes the human beings and the deities to get attached to these forms, and also mentally live in these forms and find delight in these forms, without knowing that these forms are mind-made. These forms are a shadow of the mind. When they are unable to understand this, they experience some fake space, gap, distance between I and the form. But there is no real gap, space, distance between I and the form. Suppose in the dream world, when you are dreaming, in the dream also, in the night when you see a dream, you see forms. You see forms, trees, buildings, cars, everything you see. But I'm asking you the question, is there a real gap, space, distance between that dream I and dream form? Between that dream I and the dream form, there is no real gap, no real space, no real distance. But you don't know that. You don't have a clear-cut understanding about that. Between I and the form, there is no clear understanding because there is huge darkness. That darkness is the cause which influences you to feel, experience some kind of fake gap, space or distance between I and the form. Even in that dream also, you see, suppose you see the moon in a dream, then you think that there are millions of kilometers from you to the moon in the dream, but it is mind-made. It is mind-made. It is a mental object. That mental object, that form that you see in the dream is mind-made. It is cast by the mind. It is made of mind. So there is no real gap, no space, no real distance between dream I and dream form. In the same way, in this daylight, we should understand that these forms and the I between I and the form, there is no real gap, no real space, no real distance. But the distance that we feel, that we experience, is something that we imagine out of our mind. It's a mental image. The space, the gap, the distance between I and the form that we experience, it is fake and it is mind-made, it is a mental object. So thinking that there is a real gap, real space, real distance between I and the form, we are caught to the mental object, that mind-made mental object. So between mind and of mental object, there is no real gap, no real space, no real distance. So this is what we should understand within I and the form. When we don't have a clear-cut understanding between mind and the object, as well as a clear-cut understanding between I and the form, but it is actually we tend to live in the form mentally, and also we tend to cling to the forms outside, thinking that you are here and the forms are something separated from you. There is a huge gap, there is a huge space, distance between you, I and the form. That is why you want to gain something which is far. So we should understand that it is a fake space, gap, distance that we see between I and the form. The space that we see within I and the form is something imagined by the mind. No real space can be seen through the eyes. Only the color form we see. So there should be a clear understanding between I and the form to realize this Dhamma. So this is all about insight meditation. This is very important. These Dhammapads are very important when you practice insight meditation. So I think that today these Dhammapads will be helpful for your insight meditation. Namo Buddhaya.